The Bureau of Public Safety, BPS, has written to the Minister of Roads and Highways to redesign and reclassify the Tema Motorway to be an urban highway, provide traffic lights and evict encroachers to prevent further carnage on the stretch. The Bureau says it conducted a survey and risk assessment on the stretch after several complaints from individuals. Let me bring you details of a report on that survey. Now here is that report. It says the survey and risk assessment of the Kwame Nkrumah Motorway, that is Tema Motorway. It reads that it was open to traffic in 1965, as you may well be aware of. And it talks about the volumes, and it says that following several complaints from individuals since 2017 about this stretch, it's received by the BPS. It commissioned the project to verify and ascertain the status quo independently. So these are the things that they did. They undertook a survey into activities of motorists and other road users of the motorway. They conducted a risk assessment on the use of the motorway as well. Now this exercise was done between January 20th and March 31st this year. And the Bureau of Public Safety made the following observations, and I'm going to read that to you. Number one, it says that the road is laced with 45 unauthorized U-turns, out of which some 24 have a semblance of blockade, while another 21 U-turns have been effectively created and frequently used by cars, minibuses, tricycles and motorcycles, etc. Now the danger this phenomenon creates for the road users should not be overlooked. Now that's a very key point they made there, about over 40 U-turns on the 19-kilometer stretch motorway. Number two, they further counted 236 footpaths, 236 footpaths laced across the median, majority of them occurring at areas with established settlements within the buffer zone. And if you use the motorway, you know that this is quite a usual scene. People walking across the road every now and then, that's quite usual, something that you see when you use the motorway. So those are some of the things that the Bureau of Public Safety have put together after the survey they conducted on that road. Now here are the recommendations they put together. So this is a letter that they sent to the Honorable Minister for Roads and Highways, and these are the recommendations. One, to redesign and reclassify the motorway to be an urban highway and lace it with traffic lights, pedestrian crossing, bus stops, and allow for arterial and local roads to link. Number two, they want the road to be redefined with immediate effect. They want to redefine with immediate effect the buffer zone along the motorway and maintain same by removing or relocating all encroachers, be it state or private facility. Number three, they're asking to provide effective all year round delineation systems with accompanying maintenance programs, considering the high volume of traffic on a daily basis, estimated at 65,000 vehicles per day. And this was part of information they had as of 2005. So they have about 65,000 vehicles there. Number four, they want the government to provide, or the ministry to provide, dedicated police patrol services to ensure traffic regulations on speeding and traffic obstructions in adding to escort/security services for broken down vehicles. And it goes on and on. Let's reach over on the phone now and speak to Nanaya Akwada, who is Executive Secretary of the Bureau of Public Safety. Hello, Nanaya.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Nanaya. We've seen the bulleted points you made in that letter that you've forwarded to the ministry. Did you directly engage the ministry with this, or is it a press release?
Well, this was not supposed to be more of a press release. It was engagement of all stakeholders, among which includes the media. And so the letter that we sent to the Honorable Minister has been copied to the his colleague minister at the Ministry of Transport. We have copies to the executive director at the National Road Safety Commission, and provided copies to the Director General for MTTG and directors at the Ghana Highway Authority and the Urban Roads Department.
Well, you make a number of recommendations there, including basically you're calling for a redefinition of the motorway, and you do have your reasons for that. But do you sincerely, realistically see that as something that can be done, given the fact that given what the motorway has been known for?
Well, in our estimation, we think that it is the wise thing and the easiest thing to do now, considering the reality that we are faced with today. Estimates from DVLA, or if you like, estimates that the Ghana Investment Promotion Center put up sometime in 2008 indicate that well over 65,000 vehicles are applying this route daily. Current estimates from DVLA puts that figure in excess of 100,000. So if you have a road whose speed limit is 100 kilometers per hour, laced with all of these obstructions and potential accident-causing situations, it will be irresponsible not to act on it. And in our estimation, we think that the time has come. We don't have to wait to experience another mass disaster or mass killing on that stretch before we do the needful.
You've put together these recommendations for government, and we don't know whether or not they've responded to you, have they?
Well, like I indicated to you, all stakeholders received their copies today. I'm sure by close of day, I'll be able to tell who received what at which office.
And to what extent are you willing to go to get these recommendations executed?
Well, as a public safety advocacy, I think that once we put a message out there, our job is not done. We'll continue to engage stakeholders in various means that we can, at least within our means, to ensure that the public is kept safe. And so this will come in the form of meetings. It will come in the form of mentions whenever we have the opportunity to do so. And these mentions will not be limited to just state actors, but even our development partners. When we have the opportunity, we can put some of these messages across. Is that sorry?
Well, we of course we cannot overemphasize the importance of pushing for this, but we also know how government reacts to some of these things. I mean, there's been several times where people have pushed for a lot of things, and put in recommendations just like you have done, and we've seen nothing happened. And a key indicator of that is the fact that we're still talking about flooding today. Because what did we not say when the flooding claimed over 100 lives in this country? We said everything, but we're here talking about flooding again. I'm wondering whether or not you've heard the Tema Municipal Assembly boss and his responses to how vehicles were washed down the bridge without railings on the motorway. Have you heard him?
No, I have not heard him, but I certainly have monitored the event that took away the lives of a military man, the military couple, if you like.
Very well. Well, the MC, we've been speaking to the MC. My colleague Kujangsin has been speaking to him, and he said that, well, you don't necessarily need railings on that stretch, not on that bridge, and that this has happened basically because it's rained and it got flooded. How do you have any responses to that?
Well, I believe that if the recommendations that we put out there are taken into consideration, this flooding at that point would probably have not have occurred, because we indicated also that on the motorway there are 14 major stop and pick-up points. And at the point where the military couple lost their lives, it's one of the areas. Look, when you have development growing towards a highway like the motorway, and is grossly unplanned, you end up having a lot of human activity getting closer to the highway. And because it is not factored into our development plan, we do not take care of the human activity and its resultant consequences. As I speak with you, it's not only limited to the Adekojo area where the flooding occurred. Very soon we are going to have flooding occurring across the entire stretch of the motorway. We have these kiosk estates that have sprung up along the motorway stretch, and no one is really talking about them. They have solid waste that is not being managed because they are not part of our development agenda. So all those things eventually will play out onto the motorway, and will give us the problem that today we are battling with, or today we fear. So it is important that we look at this reclassification and re-engineering very, very seriously. We have Tema housing project, which is over 200 housing units. Those people are going to live there. The government himself has put the structure there. It is only smart for the government to put in place measures to factor in how these people will link the motorway and how they will exit the motorway. We have given permits for people to develop factories close within the buffer zone of the motorway. It is only smart and wise for the state to find or to help them create safe means of access and exit from this motorway. In the absence of that, they will continue to create. If you look at the statistics that we put out there, 45 U-turns across a 19-kilometer stretch. Out of that 45, 24 of them have been blocked by the state. And the 24 that have been blocked, interest you to learn that the 21 which are currently in use, some of them are just close by where the highway authority placed their blockade. Some of them just 100 meters away, some of them less than 100 meters away from where the state blocks. So what the learning we got from it is that when the state blocks, when the people create the U-turn, the state blocks, and then they create again. When the state blocks, they create, and now it appears the state is losing control. And so these 21 U-turns have come to stay. And as for the crossing, it's terrible. People are crossing everywhere necessary. Yeah. For every kilometer, you will find 12 crossings, which we cannot say that this is not an issue. We cannot say that we want the motorway to remain a motorway at the expense of lives and property. We must make the motorway safe for use. And to make it safe for use, we should introduce traffic lights. We should introduce pedestrian crossings. We must establish bus stops. We must be able to allow arterial roads to link the motorway and allow local roads to also link and to exit the motorway, so that when we are driving, our performance will be improved, because we anticipate that in the next few meters or kilometers, I have to give way to traffic that is joining or traffic that is exiting. Then we will all be safe. In the absence of that, it will not be long when we will start mourning so many souls again because we sat down on consent.
Right. Nanayo, that's a point well espoused there. Thank you very much. It'll be interesting to hear government's response. But like you said, they've not yet, this just went out this afternoon, and so you've not yet had a response. But we'll be here to monitor how the response will be, whether or not this re-engineering, the call for re-engineering will actually be heeded by government.
Right.
Nanaya Akwada is Executive Director of the Bureau of Public Safety. They are demanding a re-engineering of the Accra-Tema Motorway. They want traffic lights. They want everything that makes it more of an urban road rather than a motorway.